Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of A Bettor's Sit Down with your host, your inside guy from NY, Cod Anthony, here to bring you all of the hottest picks in the NFL coming up this Thursday for Thanksgiving football. So hang tight and let's get to this. Looking back over last week's slate of games, we've finished 1-2 and 2-1 the prior week, so I'm 3-3 against the spread, looking to get you guys some wins, get you guys back on track, get you ahead. And what better day to do it than Thanksgiving? So let's get to it. All right, so the first game coming up on Thursday are the Detroit Lions at home. They're getting 3 points against the Houston Texans. Now, it's a little bit of a trap game. We do know the Detroit Lions are very comfortable playing on Thanksgiving. They haven't been competitive in a while, but that's what they do. And the Houston Texans are coming off a really great victory against the New England Patriots last week. They beat them pretty good, finished up by a touchdown. Deshaun Watson was the offensive player of the week last week. He put together a great game with over 240 yards in the first half. And when we look at the overall scope of these two teams, one of them's good and one of them's bad. So here we go. You've got Deshaun Watson. Randall Cobb, he's had a bit of a down year, but he is out. We'll see if Kenny Stills can step in against the porous Detroit defense and contribute. I believe he will. And J.J. Watt rounding himself into form. He's looking a little bit like the old J.J. Watt with 4 batted passes last week in that big game. And we can't forget Houston gets their stud left tackle. Laremy Tunsil is back in the lineup, which is going to be huge for Deshaun on that blind side. When we look at the other opponent here in Detroit, this is a really bad team, which gives up about 400 yards per game. And they got shut out last week. They have 15 players on the injury report, including their concussed running back, DeAndre Swift. And Matthew Stafford with an injury on his throwing hand. Yeah. Look, you've got to be crazy to take the Detroit Lions this week. There's no possible way you should do that. Definitely the pick right here. Houston laying 3. Go get them. And we're moving on to the next game. We got Dallas versus the Washington football team. I was almost going to say it. I didn't say it. All right. So this line's been moving a little bit. It's been about 3.5, with Dallas actually favored to win this game. Dallas is actually the worst team in the NFL against the run, giving up over 1,500 yards. Now, the Washington football team are giving up about 195 yards per game, so they're the number 1 team in the NFL against the pass, in part due to the amazing play by soon-to-be superstar Chase Young. The Dallas Cowboys had to cancel their practice on Tuesday. And they sent their coach, strength training coach, home for the medical emergency. And they're going to kind of come into this game hobbling without their starting cornerback, Anthony Brown. Now, when you look at the Washington Redskins going up against the worst rush defense in the league, Anthony Gibson, that boy good. He's good. What I really love about the Washington Redskins, Alex Smith. Is this guy all heart or what? He came in the league as a number 1 pick in the overall draft. Didn't pan out for him in San Fran. Headed over to the Kansas City Chiefs. Played extremely well, but didn't work out for him there. He then makes his way over to the Washington Redskins. And in a freak injury, not only almost loses his leg, but loses his life. The man literally was sacrificing his life to play in the NFL. Even though he's earned over $160 million, he's suiting up. He's playing, and he's playing well. Do you think there's anybody who doesn't respect that man in the organization? The answer is no. Alex Smith is the truth. I just find him to be the embodiment of resilience and everything that we love about the game of football. And there's no way I would bet against him, against the lowly Dallas Cowboys. Go ahead and take the Washington Redskins plus 3.5. You're welcome. All right, looking at the late game for this evening, Thursday night game, you've got the Pittsburgh Steelers at home, laying 5 at this moment against the Baltimore Ravens. Now, this is a tricky game. Let me tell you why. Well, obviously, starting with the Pittsburgh Steelers, possibly the best team in the NFL. They're certainly the best defensive team in the NFL, giving up under 200 yards per game to their opponents. Ben Roethlisberger is balling out of control. He's making any wide receiver look like a Pro Bowl player. And then Jonathan Connor is running the ball well out of the backfield. The special teams is playing well. They're hitting on all cylinders. Baltimore has really been struggling as of late. They got their butts whipped in Foxborough on a pouring torrential downpour. Then they came back on a short week, went into OT, got their butts whipped again, and now they're back on another short week. I don't know how their schedule ended up this way. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are so good and that their defense is so aggressive and so on point that they're going to actually force Lamar Jackson with his limited weapons to begin doing what he actually does best, which is run the football. Now, by no means do I think the Baltimore Ravens are going to make this a competitive game, but I do think they'll do well enough to cover 5-point spread.